Cheers, everyone. So this rain here in Udon Thani's got me a little bit of a damper. So I thought I'd go ahead and make that video that you all been crying about how Pui and I met. It's kind of an interesting story. I'm not going to make this overly long. It's just going to be a talking head video. I'm going to sit here and talk. I'll make it as short and to the point as possible. If you're thinking about coming out here, you might want to follow my examples. I don't know that I did anything wrong on this whole process, so it was all right for me. So let me start. March 2022. I was just recently divorced. I had a K-1 visa failure with hot-blooded bipolar Latina. After a year, I filed for divorce, and it was 2 years. It was completely over. So I was free and new, out of the market, dating. I always had a thing for Latinas. Was planning to retire to Mexico, but I had a little fling with this Thai lady at the dog park, and I really liked her. So I just kind of got on line one day, and I was on Thai Cupid, I think, and I went ahead and signed up, posted some photos, came back the next day, and the number 84 sticks out to me. I think I had like 84 messages from beautiful Thai ladies within 24 hours, maybe 12 hours. Like the next day I went to it and boom, it was 84 messages. So I conversed with dozens of beautiful Thais for months. And we talked, and Pui was one of them. I found Pui, and I knew she was way away from Bangkok, way up in Isan. And I kind of liked that because I was looking for a wholesome Thai lady, one that wasn't, for lack of a better word, corrupted by the pressures of the big city. And I found that with her. She was on my list. A list of people to come see. So it was 8 months. March, October, November. I think I came out maybe the first week in November, and I was here for 5 weeks. I was here through Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving came and went, and I didn't even know it. It was like the next day, and I realized, holy shit, I missed Thanksgiving. First Thanksgiving I missed my whole life. I've since missed a couple others, but that's okay. Pui was on my list, and she was actually on the bottom of my list. She was like, I was like, well, if I have time, I'll fly up to whatever town that was. My superintendent told me, just go ahead and take your time off, and if you don't want to use your vacation time, you don't have to. What we can do is we can just give you a layoff, and then you come back and you're right back where you started from, and then you can collect the unemployment for the time. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that might work. I've been thrown into unemployment for over 20 years. I might as well try to get a little of my money back. So that's what I did. They gave me like a temporary layoff, and I came to Thailand, and I took an extra week. So I had a movable ticket, so I bought insurance on it, so I just moved it forward. So I came a week earlier than planned, but I had my itinerary already laid out: hotels, plane flights from Bangkok to Koh Samui, from Bangkok to Phuket, from Bangkok to Sakon Nakhon. I had everything bought, paid for it. I had my itinerary done. But I showed up a week early, so I had that whole extra week to kill. I came in and I told Pui, I said, hey, I'm a week early. Well, why don't I moved her from the bottom of the list to the top of the list because I had everything all laid out already, and I didn't want to interrupt any of that. So I said, let's go. I'm gonna fly up to Sakon Nakhon. So I went to Bangkok for one night, jumped on a plane, I think it was a Friday, jumped on a plane, or a Thursday, jumped on a plane the next day, and then flew up to Sakon Nakhon. Checked into the hotel, and Pui and her cousin came and picked me up. And then we went to Nakhon Phanom. We stayed one night in Nakhon Phanom, and then we went back to Sakon Nakhon, and that's how I met Pui. was that first weekend I was here. And I thought she was a wonderful lady. No funny business went on. We had a chaperone. It was all above board, very conservative lady. And she kind of introduced me to Isan that first weekend. So I was there. I stayed another night in Sakon and then went to Bangkok. And then did my adventures through Koh Samui, Phuket. I went up to Ayutthaya, met a wonderful lady. Where else? I had some ladies lined up in Bangkok, but they all kind of fell through for whatever reason. I went to Phuket and I had a couple lined up in Phuket, and I went all the way to Phuket and spent time with one young, beautiful lady. Great time. At the last minute, she just looked at me and says, she says, "You're just a little too old for me." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so that ended that. And I went to near Patong to meet up with another lady. And as soon as I get there, I messaged her that I'm here, and then she wanted like 1,000 baht appearance fee. And I didn't want the relationship to get off on that. So I just said, nah, just stay away. So that one kind of fell through. I went back to Bangkok and went back to Sakon. I had like a few days, between trips. So I went back to Sakon and met with Pui again. We stayed in Sakon, I think this time. And she showed me around. And I was there for a night or two and then went back to Bangkok and then went on my jaunt down to Phuket or Koh Samui or whatever it was. And I came back to Bangkok. And I think I came that first 5 weeks. I went to Sakon 3 times. And saw Pui 3 times. So probably the best probably the best 5 weeks of my life coming here to Thailand and just meeting with the ladies and having beers and it was just a great experience. And I fell in love with Thailand right away. So I go back home and I'm thinking about Pui and I'm thinking about one other lady. And I was kind of couldn't make up my mind. But I kept in touch with both and we're talking. And the next year, Songkran, which wasn't too far away, I think it was April. Songkran's in April, right? Because that's when Pui had time off for Songkran, with the government job and all. Her time is limited and it's valuable. So I turned around and came back, I think in April. And I spent a week with the other lady. I came for 3 weeks. I spent a week with the other lady, which was just magical. And then I spent better part of 2 weeks with Pui. I met her in Bangkok. She came to Bangkok, and then we went to Koh Larn, I think for like 4 nights. And then we went to Pattaya, I think for 3 nights, but she left early. That's not her scene, and which I totally understand. So she left early, and then I finished the hotel reservation that I had there by myself for the next couple nights, and then I went back to Bangkok, and then I got on a plane and flew up to Sakon. And then she put me up in a little guest house down the street. Over by that market, over by Chill. Actually, there's a little room back in there that she suggested that I stay at. So I went there and booked it for, I think 5 nights I was there. And then I had her motor scooter to drive around on. That's when I met her family and everybody went to her house. And so I kind of knew what I was getting into before coming here. And I was like, ugh, So it was a good time. She spent her time with me. When she wasn't working, and it was just a great time. Sakon is not what I had planned in my retirement. It was not what I planned to do or live. Anyhow, I went home and I'm chatting with her, and my plan was to go down to the beach somewhere south of Pattaya or and get a condo on the beach and take the dog for a walk on the beach every day. Me and the trickster just doing our thing, and that was my plan. And hindsight, I'm glad we didn't do that because I don't think it would have worked out for me. I've got friends that kind of did that, and they're all up here. They've all moved out of Pattaya already, and I get that now. I mean, I go to Pattaya. I've been to Pattaya 3 times, and one night is enough for me. Just too many people, too many freaking tourists, just too much of everything for me there. Good place to visit, kind of like Bangkok. I think worse than Bangkok. I'd rather spend 3 nights in Bangkok, I think, than 3 nights in Pattaya. But so I came back in April, 3 weeks, went back home and said, okay, I'm going to go to Thailand. I had 8 more months, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I had like 8 more months to go before I could retire. And I was like, okay, I'm all on board with this. So I started talking with Pui about it. I said, hey, baby, let's, well, I chose Pui because she seemed to have her act together a little more than the other lady. She had a kind of a better job, you know, she had a little more substance. I think a better, I'm going to say track record. Just, I think she was more of the wholesome type lady that I would want to have a long-term relationship with. So I tried to talk her into going down south, you know, and living with me down there. She's like, no, I can't do that. I have to stay here, take care of my parents and all this. And I said, okay, you know, I get it. So you can't blame me for trying, right? So I said, well, what are we going to do? I asked her, I said, what are we going to do? When I come up here, I said, I'll be with you. What is the plan? And she says, well, you come live here at the house. I went, ugh. I mean, you guys have seen the house. It's a wonderful Thai house. Not something I'm used to, but I'm used to it now. And it's not that big of a deal. I'm very comfortable there, you know, other than a few things. But I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, you know, and that's when, so I had like 8 months and I just put the house on the market. I started getting rid of stuff in San Diego. I gave a car to my niece, you know, I ended up selling my truck. You know, I had a garage full of crap I just started getting rid of. I sold stuff. I donated stuff. I gave stuff away. I threw a lot of stuff away. I just got rid of, I had a 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. And I just got rid of everything. Like I just said, sold, gave, donated, trashed, whatever it may be. Got rid of everything. I came to Thailand in 2 suitcases, my golf clubs, and a crate with Trixie. And that's what I came with. And I came in January of 2024. I think January 11th, 12th. But it was the best decision I ever made. I was so happy I made that. I moved up to Isan. Flew into Suvarnakhet, and then we flew right up to Sakon Nakhon, and moved into Pui's house. And to be honest and to be fair, it has not been as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, I've been very happy there. That's why I'm still there. It's been 1.5 years and I'm still there. Well, I'm there part-time now. But I'm still there. It's still my main address. It's still on my my passport and insurance information, driver's license, all that stuff. That's still my main residence. This is just my bachelor pad here, which I enjoy very much. So that's my story. That's how I got here. And if you all are thinking about coming to Thailand, I don't see anything wrong with just getting online and shooting some messages out to some beautiful Thai ladies, you know, whether it's Thai Friendly, Thai Cupid, whatever website trips your trigger. You know, there's a few out there. It's been my belief and understanding that a website like Thai Cupid is more for the long-term relationship type ladies. Thai Friendly is good if you're looking for short-time action. You know, you're in town for a minute, go on Thai Friendly, find the ladies. They don't give a lot of information about themselves, just some pictures, their age, what they're looking for. and you can probably pick up ladies of the night on Thai Friendly. Thai Cupid, you get a little more of the long-term relationship kind of people, which is how I found Pui. So now that's just my opinion. If you're looking for long-term relationships, certainly don't try Tinder. Anyway, that's my story. You guys have been bugging me about this for a year. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you guys. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything here. Kind of made a little cheat sheet here. No, I think I covered it all. Koh Samui, Phuket, Ayutthaya, Bangkok, 2022. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into any real details about stuff, but that's kind of the whole synopsis and the crux of how Pui and I met, and how she went from the bottom of the list to the top of the list, and haven't looked back since.